Hi YouTube, what's going on? It's Kaiger1324 up today with another game review. I've just finished playing this game. I've just this moment completed it, and I feel like it's time for a review on the game. Of course, I'm going through my collections, playing all my games, and of course I'm trying to get a lot of reviews done. Of course, the game we're going to be reviewing today is Alan Wake. Yes, Alan Wake. This game, before I get into the review, I just want to say that this game has some good and some bad. Now, of course, we're going to go through the main things, story, graphics, gameplay, and then my gripes, and then of course we'll wrap the review up with what was good and what was bad. Now, Alan Wake, the story in this game, you basically, without spoiling too much, because I feel this game has a pretty good story, and I don't want to spoil too much, but you're pretty much playing as a guy called Alan Wake, who's basically wrote a story. He's a writer, basically, and that story's coming to life. That is actually pretty cool, because there's not a lot of games that really, in fact, I don't think there's any games that have done that. This game, before I say that, I just want to say, why is this game just called Alan Wake? It doesn't really bring you in. When you think of horror games, you've got games like Silent Hill, Outlast, Resident Evil. Yes, those games have no, apart from Silent Hill, don't really match the actual game. Alan Wake actually is a game that's named after the main character. It's kind of weird. I just thought I'd mention that, why the game is called that. But as I'm saying, the story in this game is actually pretty good, and a story that you might enjoy if you're a fan of classic Stephen King novels and classic horror, because there are lots of references, and I will get to that towards the end of the review. Now, of course, graphics. The graphics in this game are pretty good, but being a game, again, a horror game, it's mainly, although this game doesn't call itself a horror game, it says a psychological action thriller. It is classed as a horror game. The graphics in this game, because it's a horror game, most of the time the graphics it's night time, but it's not that really dark where you can't see anything. There are moments in the game where it is too dark and you can't see anything, but of course, there are means to improve that. The graphics are pretty good, and the scenery is well done as well. It's lots of forests, so sort of thing. Of course, there are other places you explore, but it's mainly forest and stuff, and that can be a bit confusing as well, because it's all forests. It's kind of cliche sort of thing, forest, but then again, it's classic horror at its best. Now, as for the sounds are pretty well done in this game as well. Voice acting's pretty good. The music in this game, there is music in this game, and the music is pretty good as well, actually. It's an episodic type thing. It's not really like a Telltale game where they release one episode. It's all done in a style of a TV show sort of thing. It's sort of like a TV show in 6 episodes sort of thing, and that's pretty cool. That a lot of games are doing that again now, and this one does it quite well as well. Now, gameplay. The gameplay, for the most part, it is just a third-person horror action, third-person shooter / adventure game. The combat in this game, the way you use combat, there's 2 main weapons in this game. You have, first of all, you have your guns, your rifles, your shotgun, your handgun, that sort of thing. And the second weapon is light weapons, so you have flare guns, flashbangs, flares, and of course your flashlight. The enemies in this game are invincible until you use your light on them. So you can use your lights, and the light weapons are, of course, stronger, but bullets will not harm the enemies until you've took off the Shroud of Darkness around the enemies. For the most part, the enemies are called Taken. They're normally just like people that have melee weapons. They're either thrown at you. You've got different styles of enemies. Some ones that can do sort of teleporting, ones that are heavy, like big like firefighters, and then you've got poltergeist enemies. They're not really enemies, but it's sort of like when objects get thrown at you and you have to shine your light on them. And then there's things like bulldozers and cars that are come to life. Again, that is pretty cool. However, the combat in this game, it takes a while to get used to, but it's not the worst combat in the game, and it's something that's pretty it's pretty unique to this game. There's not many other games that use that. Another game that uses light to kill enemies is a game called Deadfall Adventure, but that's a first-person shooter. Now, before I get into my problems with the game, this game has a lot of Easter eggs and references. So being inspired by Stephen King novels, classic horror like Alfred Hitchcock, there's lots of references to things like the birds, because there's birds, of course. You know, Stephen King novels, the forests and stuff like that. And there's really cool Easter eggs, like where you can find a TV and it plays a show called Night Springs, and it's pretty much the Twilight Zone. It's very well done in that sense, and I really got to give the developers Remedy a lot of credit for that, because not a lot of games, when you play a horror game, it normally follows modern horror, sort of, you know, Friday the 13th. I know it's not necessarily modern, but you know what I mean. It's more modernised, not this sort of taking horror from early Stephen King novels, Alfred Hitchcock. And obviously that's the whole point of the game. It's meant to be like a big Stephen King novel, and that's really cool, because while this game does have a lot of cutscenes and like I said, the story's really well done, the gameplay is good, but it's not perfected in any way. Now, this game has a lot of issues. The first issue is a small issue, and it really gets on my nerves. It's not really an over-the-shoulder game, for example, Dead Space or Resident Evil 4, but you do have over-the-shoulder camera, and pressing the right analog stick would normally the camera would be over this shoulder or over this shoulder. In the game, it always seems like the camera's over looking over your right shoulder, so you're using like that, which really annoys me, because the game's always seeming like it's focusing the over-the-shoulder camera to the right, which really annoys me, because no, sorry, it would be over your left shoulder. That really annoys me, because although you press the right analog stick to change it, but it always seems to go back to that thing like every minute or so, and it's so annoying. It's not a massive issue, but it's just something that I found a bit annoying. Another really annoying thing is this game, you don't have melee weapons, which kind of sucks, because not necessarily having a melee weapon, but an ability to maybe push your enemies back or something would have been a really cool would have worked really well. Instead, you have this dodge thing. Well, it's not really a dodge. Your character just ducks, and to do that, you press LB and move the analog stick. And I've got to say, sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. For the most part, it doesn't work. And that's a big issue, because when you get a bunch of enemies attacking you on this game and you have to dodge, it seems like it never works when you need it to. And that's a big issue, because the amount of times I've died because the dodge didn't work is phenomenal, because I don't think I've never played a game that had dodging controls almost as bad as this. It's not almost unplayable by any means, it's just bad. Although this game you know, like I say, it's more of a third-person shooter, not really a fighting thing, but it's still a big issue. Another really thing that I really annoyed me, the jumping as well. You have to jump in this game quite a few times, and it seems like if you're trying to jump over something, it never works. Your character never seems to. In most games, when you jump over a fence, your character will vault. This one, it doesn't. Half the time, there's only like a few fences that, like, oh, you think, oh, I can jump over this one. In this one, no. There's like maybe 3 styles of fence that you can jump. Other ones you can't. There's driving segments in this game, but I found that the driving segments are just stale. It's not really. It just feels like the cars drift, even though you don't want them to. They drift and they lose control. Another thing that really pissed me off about this game is that your character seems to slide a lot. It's hard to explain without showing you, but most games, when you turn around, your character will just turn around. In this game, it's sort of your character stops and then turns around. It's really annoying, and it always seems like you're getting stuck behind something. And because this game's dark and it's mainly forest, when you get a bunch of enemies coming in at you, you're trying to find space to move back and shoot, but it always seems that you're getting stuck behind something and you get cornered, and like I said, the dodging doesn't work. This game has some annoying moments, but not in the sense that it annoys you to the point. When I say annoying moments, I'm talking like maybe in a game where there's a certain mission that's annoying or a certain thing that's annoying. This game's almost all an annoying moment because of the bad dodging, and it always seems like when enemies spawn, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Another thing I find, that even though this game's a horror game, it's not scary. That's not necessarily a terrible thing. It's more of a thriller, like the game says, but we all know it's meant to be a horror game. It just feels like the game doesn't have jump scares, but when there is meant to be a jump scare, it's like you know, oh look, there's a room here. Oh, I've just picked up a special weapon. Yeah, but like I said, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I think this game could have been improved. If they improved those things, it would have been a really good game. Another thing I want to mention is that when I play a game, there's 3 things that I'll either do. The first one is I'll either play a game and I'll go, you know what, this game is not for me, I do not like it, and I won't play it again. An example of it, a game that is coming up in my list, in my games to play technically after the next one I'm going to play, which will be Alien Colonial Marines, was Alpha Protocol. I'm not going to play that game again because it was terrible and I did not like it. So the second thing that happens when I play a game is that I'll play a game, I'll enjoy it for a bit, and then it just starts to get boring and stale, and I'm just playing the game so I can complete it. I don't want to play a game and just be like, I just want to complete it. It's dragging on. This game did that to me, and it's a shame, really. And of course, the third thing that I will do when I play a game is I'll play it and I'll love it and I'll enjoy every moment, with the occasional, oh my god, it's pissing me off. But that being said, Alan Wake, what's good about this game? Of course, like I said, the good things about this game are, I like the story. I like the fact that it uses a lot of references and inspiration from classic horror, not really modernized horror. And I do like the fact that it hasn't gone for like enemies being zombies or monsters. It's something new and original. That's what's good. And of course, the bad things, of course, that I've just mentioned. Now, Alan Wake is a game that I think, if you're a fan of classic horror, you should definitely give this game a go, because you probably would enjoy it. I did because of that. And that's why I kept on playing this game, because I wanted to see if there was any more cool references and stuff. And the story is really good. It's not the best story in the world. Like I said, it does get a bit stale towards the end, and it's just starting to get like, oh, okay. it seems a bit rushed towards the end, is what I'd say. But Remedy did a good job of trying something new. Will there be another game like Alan Wake? I don't know. They could do another game like this to maybe improve some of the things that I've mentioned. It would be pretty cool to see that. What would I give this game? I'd give this game a 7.5. Now that seems quite low when you think about it, but it is quite high at the same time. The main reason was, at first I was going to give this game maybe an 8 or an 8.5, but after playing it, completing it, I just found that it just felt like I just wanted to complete it, to get it done. But that being said, Alan Wake is something that you shouldn't pass on. I'd recommend either maybe trying to pick this game up cheap. You can get this game for about under a $5 nowadays, which is pretty good. I don't think this game will become rare by any means, but I do think this game, because it is only on Xbox 360, I thought it was on PS3, but obviously not. This game, I don't think this game will become uncommon or rare, but it will be one of those games that will be pushed back, and people will sort of go, oh yeah, I remember that game, but you know, it's not like other horror games where like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, you know, the big horror games that keep getting bigger and bigger and everyone remembers them. This one's going to be one that's going to get pushed back and not a lot of people talk about it. It's not necessarily, normally I'm like, and that's a bad thing. In my opinion, that's not the worst thing in the world, because it don't deserve to be up there with Silent Hill and Resident Evil, in my opinion. It's sort of not at the lowest of the low when it comes to horror games, but it's in the middle. It's not the best, it's not the worst, it's an okay game. And it's something new and fresh, but it's not polished enough to be the best, a perfect or a great game. Now, of course, these are my own opinions on the game. I'm not doing a review of everything. Like I said, my reviews aren't necessarily me going in depth and telling you everything about the game. It's more me giving my personal opinions and experiences with the particular game in question. Now, Alan Wake is something that I probably won't play again. It doesn't have a lot of replayability in my opinion. It just feels like this game is sort of one of those games that I'll play once and I won't play again because of the problems I mentioned before. But if you can find this game and you want to give a game a go because you're into classic horror, I give it a go just based on that. And the story is pretty well done as well. Now, I'm going to leave this review here. Alan Wake, 7.5. Not the worst game I've ever played, but definitely not the best one. You know, it's good, but it's not great. And it's not bad, but it's not terrible. That don't make any sense, but anyway. So, Alan Wake. Now, the next review, of course, will be Alien Colonial Marines. I just hit my fingers, fuck off. Alien Colonial Marines. I have played the game in the past. I think I completed it, but part of me thinks that I got to the last part and didn't finish it. I'm going to play through it again. I know it's considered to be quite a bad game, but I want to go through it and play it again to just maybe see if it is all this bad, because like another game that I've played and was quite bad was Duke Nukem Forever, but I didn't think it was the worst game in the world. But anyway, I don't know if there'll be a lot of videos. I don't think there'll be any videos through this week. There may be some videos. I might, because I'm spending this week with Heather at her dad's because he's going away, so we have to look after the dog, so it'll be just me, Heather and her brother when he's there. But he does have an Xbox One, so I can play some Xbox One. Yes. I don't know what games he has. Heather said he's got, you know, Call of Duty, FIFA, GTA. I might play a bit of GTA, but I'll see if I can download my file onto his console and then see if I can have if my games are still on there and play some of my games on there. But Heather's got that Attack on Titan game, and just a little heads up, we started watching Attack on Titan last night. watched about 3 episodes. He's got it all on DVD, and it's actually pretty good. Actually, I didn't think I knew I'd probably like it. Like I said, I'm not the biggest anime fan, but I used to love anime. I don't hate it. I don't, love it to pieces. It's good, and this one seems like something that's pretty cool. And I'll probably end up giving the game a go this week. So if I play the game this week, that review might come this week. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. This has been a review on Alan Wake on the Xbox 360. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, I always appreciate a like. It really does mean a lot. If you want to see any more game reviews, or if there's anything in particular, please leave a comment. And hey, if you're new around here and you want to see more videos, please feel free to subscribe and let people know what I'm about, because I'd love to do more things. But we'll see how things go this week, and sorry if there's no videos this week. I'll try and get some done. I am taking my Xbox 360 as well, so there might be some game reviews in the week. But if I don't do any videos, it's because I'm away. But I'll try and get some stuff done. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a nice day.